For decades, the name Waldorf-Astoria meant absolute power in New York. The Astors ruled Fifth Avenue, and they wrote the rules for America's richest. Their feud split a city, built two palaces back to back, and then, in a single generation, lost everything. How did the world's most celebrated hotel become both a symbol of dynasty and the stage for its downfall? The answer begins much earlier than you think. John Jacob Astor arrived in America with little more than a shrewd eye for opportunity. By the early 1800s, his fur trading empire stretched from the forests of the Pacific Northwest to the drawing rooms of New York. Profits from pelts and shipping soon transformed into something even more enduring: real estate. The Astor name became woven into the very streets of Manhattan, with entire blocks along Fifth Avenue bearing their mark. Yet it was not just money that set the Astors apart. Power in Gilded Age. New York meant something more: the ability to decide who belonged and who did not. Nowhere was this more evident than in the salons of Caroline Schermerhorn Astor, known simply as Mrs. Astor. She ruled over the city's social hierarchy with a velvet-gloved hand. Her invitation, only 400 lists, determined the boundaries of high society. To be included was to be recognized as legitimate, old money, proper breeding, and above all, her approval. Those who failed to meet her standards, no matter their fortune, found the doors to her ballroom closed. The Astor mansions, clustered along Fifth Avenue, served as both fortress and stage for the rituals of the elite. Social order was carefully maintained, with lineage and reputation valued above mere wealth. In this world, architecture became a language of status. Marble facades and gilded parlors were not just homes, but public declarations of authority. The Astors built more than fortunes; they built the code by which others would be measured. And as new fortunes pressed against the gates, the question of who truly ruled New York would soon demand an answer. William Waldorf Astor did not simply contest his aunt's authority with words. In 1893, he raised his own Fifth Avenue mansion and replaced it with a 13-story hotel, the Waldorf. The message was unmistakable: the old social order could be toppled with steel and stone. The Waldorf's opening was both a spectacle and a provocation. Its electric lights and private baths dazzled the press, but many in old society dismissed it as garish, even vulgar. Caroline Astor, now watching from her neighboring mansion, was said to bristle at the sight of hotel guests parading where her garden once bloomed. For William, the hotel was more than a business. It was a calculated affront, a monument to his claim as head of the family. He soon departed for England, leaving the controversy to smolder on Fifth Avenue. But Caroline's son, John Jacob Astor IV, would not let the challenge stand. In 1897, he demolished their own mansion and raised the stakes with the Astoria Hotel, a 16-story rival, taller and grander, built on the adjoining lot. The same architect, Henry Hardenberg, was summoned, ensuring that the two towers loomed over the avenue like dueling banners. The feud had become a contest of height, luxury, and pride. Yet, as business realities set in, the cousins agreed to join forces. A marble corridor, Peacock Alley, linked the hotels, forming the Waldorf-Astoria. With 1,300 rooms, it became the largest hotel in the world. Their uneasy alliance would outlast both matriarch and challenger, but not all would survive to see its legacy. John Jacob Astor IV perished aboard the Titanic in 1912, his ambition sealed by tragedy. Peacock Alley stretched for 300 feet, a marble artery joining the Waldorf and Astoria into a single organism of luxury. Guests glided down its polished length, the corridor alive with the shuffle of silk and the low hum of conversation. This was no ordinary hotel passage. It was a promenade, a stage, and a boundary, where fortunes and reputations brushed shoulders under the glow of electric lamps. Behind each door, comfort rivaled the grandest private homes. With 1,300 guest rooms, the Waldorf-Astoria became the largest hotel in the world at its debut. Suites offered not only sweeping views of Fifth Avenue, but also a level of privacy unknown in most hotels of the era. By the late 1890s, the majority of rooms boasted private marble baths, porcelain fixtures, and hot and cold running water, a standard of hygiene and convenience that set a new benchmark for American hospitality. Electricity pulsed through every corridor and salon, powered by dynamos deep below the street. Chandeliers and sconces shed a steady, golden light, banishing the gaslight flicker of earlier decades. Elevators, silent and swift, carried guests to upper floors, while telephones connected rooms to the world outside. Even the kitchens, hidden from the public eye, ran with a clockwork precision made possible by these modern systems. No detail was too small for innovation. From the climate controls that tempered New York's seasons to the pneumatic tubes that whisked messages between staff, the Waldorf-Astoria engineered opulence into every brick and beam. Here, architecture became a promise that comfort, privacy, and spectacle could exist on a scale the city had never seen. George Bolt arrived at the Waldorf-Astoria with a vision that went beyond opulence. He believed true luxury was not simply a matter of marble or gold, but of precision. Each gesture, each encounter choreographed to serve not just comfort but influence. Under his direction, the hotel became a fortress of exclusivity. Invitations to its grandest banquets were as coveted as any seat in Mrs. Astor's ballroom. Bolt instructed his staff to know regular guests by name, to anticipate their preferences, and to shield them from intrusion. The maitre d'hotel, Oscar Chkirky, known throughout New York as Oscar of the Waldorf, embodied this ethic. It was Oscar who invented the Waldorf salad in 1893, blending apples, celery, and mayonnaise for a charity ball attended by Lady Randolph Churchill and 1,000 of society's finest. Menus were tailored to the whims of titans and diplomats. Oscar kept notes on favorite dishes, ensuring that railroad barons, European princes, and the city's banking elite felt both recognized and protected. Service at the Waldorf-Astoria was a silent language, signaling to guests that their power would be respected, their privacy guarded. High-level meetings unfolded behind closed doors, while the public spaces teemed with the rituals of wealth. Afternoon teas, debutante balls, and midnight suppers. Bolt's rules excluded the merely rich and the merely famous. The hotel's corridors became a stage for those who shaped the city's future, not just those who could afford the room rates. In its heyday, the Waldorf-Astoria operated less as a hotel and more as a court, where service itself became a subtle instrument of control. By the late 1920s, the value of the land beneath the Waldorf-Astoria had soared far beyond what even its gilded ballrooms could justify. Fifth Avenue, once the preserve of private mansions and ritualized society, now attracted developers eager to build skyward. Annual property taxes and operating costs outpaced profits from banquets and suites. The Astor heirs, facing relentless assessments and an aging structure, weighed sentiment against arithmetic. In 1929, negotiations began for the sale of the entire block to a consortium planning the Empire State Building. The final transaction brought a record sum and a 26-year lease buyout, but left no room for nostalgia. Financial logic, not heritage, dictated the fate of the palace. The demolition order was signed that fall, sealing the end of an era with the stroke of a pen. The Waldorf-Astoria did not vanish with the wrecking ball. In 1931, a new tower rose on Park Avenue, 47 stories of Art Deco ambition, crowned as the tallest and largest hotel in the world. The spirit of the original survived, but the era of family rule ended. Corporate buyers soon took the helm. Hilton acquired the hotel in 1972, transforming it into an international brand, a byword for luxury that spanned continents. In 2014, the property sold for $1.95 billion, the highest price ever paid for a hotel. A sweeping renovation followed, stripping 96% of the interior and preparing the Waldorf for a new century. The name endures, now a hybrid of private residences and grand hotel suites, its legacy reshaped but never erased. The Waldorf-Astoria endures in name, but the world that crowned it vanished, swept away by progress and ambition. Today, luxury hotels bear corporate logos, not family crests. In every marble lobby, we glimpse how power rewrites its own address. Even palaces must yield to the future. Thank you for watching.